Somewhere out there beneath sun-scorched deserts, hidden in forgotten canyons, or buried under the bones of old ghost towns, there are secrets that were never meant to be found. Gold that vanished without a trace, maps that don't lead anywhere until they do. Stories whispered around campfires passed down just enough to survive, but never enough to solve. This is Man Cave Archives. I'm your host, Greg Reinhardt, and in this podcast, we dig into the legends that refuse to die. Lost treasure in the American Southwest. The kind of stories that blur the line between history and myth. Outlaws, miners, explorers, and ordinary folks who stumble into something extraordinary and paid the price for it. Because sometimes the real mystery isn't where the treasure is, it's why it was hidden in the first place. So pour yourself a drink, dim the lights, and settle in, because we're opening the vault. And once you step inside, you might not look at the desert the same way again. The river that swallowed gold. The Colorado River doesn't give things back, not easily. It swallows, reshapes, and buries. Entire towns have disappeared along its bank. Boats have gone down and never been seen again. And somewhere near a forgotten place called Hardyville, Arizona, a shipment of gold and silver vanished without a trace. But this wasn't a storm. It wasn't an accident. If the stories are true, it was a robbery, and what happened next is where things stopped making sense. Before railroads cut across the Southwest, the Colorado River was the highway. Steamboats, paddle wheelers pushed their way upstream, hauling everything the desert couldn't produce. Food, tools, people, and most importantly, precious metals. Gold and silver from nearby mines moved along the river in heavy shipments. Bars stacked in crates, guarded, logged, and accounted for. Or at least they were supposed to be. Hardyville wasn't much to look at. A rough river outpost, dust, wood buildings, a stopping point before cargo headed inland to the mines. But for a brief moment in the 1800s, it mattered because everything passed through there. And that made it a perfect place to make something disappear. The story centers on a paddle wheeler. Some say it was the Gila. Others claim the name was never reported. What matters is what it carried. Gold bars, silver bullion, possible payroll for miners inland, a heavy load, the kind you don't move quickly or quietly, and the kind people don't talk about. And that's the first problem, because if people knew, then someone else knew too. The attack didn't happen in Hardyville. It happened before, on a quiet stretch of river where the bank rises just enough to hide men in the dark. The boat slowed. Maybe it had to, maybe it was forced to. And then they came out of the shadow. Armed men, faces covered, moving fast as they had rehearsed it. This wasn't chaos, it was precise. Crew was disarmed, the captain controlled, cargo identified immediately. They didn't need to search the ship, they went straight to the gold. So here's the thing about stealing gold in the 1800s. You can't exactly run with it. It's heavy, slow, and obvious. And this shipment would have taken multiple men, multiple trips, or time they didn't have. Because once the boat hit Hardyville without its cargo, people would come looking. And they would come looking fast. So what do? When you steal something too big to move? According to the legend, they hid it. Not miles away, not deep in the mountains, right there. Some say along the riverbank, buried in the soft ground. Others claim they weighed it down and sank it in the bottom of the Colorado itself. And that might have worked if the river stayed the same, but it doesn't. The Colorado floods, shifts, and rewrites the land. What was once shoreline could now be underwater or buried beneath layers of silt, or gone entirely, which should have been the end of this story. Lost gold never found. But here's where things start to fall apart, because there are whispers, accounts that don't quite line up, stories that the gold was found, not by treasure hunters, not by locals, but by men who never reported it. Some versions claim a recovery operation happened quietly the years later. Armed personnel blocked access to certain river areas, and witnesses were told to leave and not come back. No records, no official statement, just silence. So let's think about that a minute. A known shipment of gold disappears, no verified recovery, no documented loss that matches the scale of the story, and then nothing. No investigation that survives in detail, no confirmed suspects, no recovered bullion. That's not just a robbery, that's a vanishing act. So, what are the possibilities? One, it was an inside job. The shipment was never lost, just redirected. Number two, it was recovered quietly, and whoever found it kept it off the books. And then there's three, it's still out there, buried, submerged, waiting in a place no longer recognizable. If you stood on the banks of the Colorado River today, near where Hardyville once was, you wouldn't see anything unusual. Just water moving past, calm, indifferent, but underneath there could be history, weight, gold, or nothing at all. The river doesn't tell stories, it erases them. So maybe the gold is still there, or maybe someone made sure it wouldn't be found twice. Either way, the Colorado River keeps what it takes. This is the Man Cave Archive, and if you knew exactly where the gold was, would you dive into that river? Or would you ask yourself why no one else ever brought it back?